Once upon a time, in a quiet village of Shakaland nestled on the edge of an untamed forest, there lived a hunter named Michael. Known far and wide for his skill and bravery, Michael was revered as the protector of his people, the one who kept the dangers of the wild at bay. His trophies, claws, tusks, and skins, adorned his home, reminders of his dominance over nature. With every successful hunt, his pride grew. But for Michael, it wasn't just about survival, it was about power. The thrill of the hunt made him feel invincible. The forest whispered warnings in the rustling leaves and the distant growls of predators. But Michael paid no mind. After all, he was the great hunter. What did he have to fear? One day, Michael ventured deeper into the forest than ever before. His eyes caught sight of a lioness with her cub, hidden in the tall grass near the riverbank. In that moment, Michael's instincts took over. To him, the cub was just another trophy to hang on his wall, a symbol of his strength over even the fiercest of creatures. Without hesitation, he aimed his bow, and with a single shot, the cub fell. As he approached the lifeless body, a chilling sound filled the air, the heart-wrenching roar of the lioness. She stood nearby, her golden eyes filled with sorrow and rage. Michael hesitated, but only for a moment. He dragged the cub back to the village, unaware that the hunter had just sealed his fate. The first omen. As Michael returned, the village elders watched with uneasy eyes. The lioness's roar echoed in their ears like an ancient curse. They warned Michael, "The forest is sacred, and the lions are its guardians. You must return the cub and ask for forgiveness." But Michael scoffed. Forgiveness? From animals? He was a hunter. The king of the wild had no need to answer to beasts. That night, strange things began to happen. Michael's children, usually carefree and playful, spoke of growls and shadows lurking near their home. The air felt heavy, charged with an unseen force. But Michael, blinded by his pride, dismissed their fears as childish imagination. The first loss. It was on the third night that tragedy struck. The village was cloaked in silence, but suddenly, there was a sound, barely a whisper in the wind. When Michael awoke, his youngest child was gone. No cry for help, no struggle. Only silence, and the faint sound of paws retreating into the night. Michael's heart shattered, but his pride remained. It was just one mistake, he told himself. He vowed to protect his family, but his arrogance still clouded his judgment. Instead of seeking forgiveness, he sharpened his weapons and fortified his home, daring the lions to return. The lions' vengeance. The lions, however, were patient. Night after night, they came, hunting with a vengeance that seemed almost human. First, it was Michael's second child, taken under the cover of darkness. Then the third, snatched from the safety of their home despite Michael's best efforts. Each loss tore at Michael's soul, but his stubbornness kept him from accepting the truth. The lions were not mere animals. They were the embodiment of nature's wrath, seeking to restore the balance Michael had so thoughtlessly disrupted. The village, once in awe of Michael, began to fear him. They whispered of curses and spirits, of the ancient bond between man and beast that had been broken. But Michael remained defiant, convinced that he could outsmart the predators he once hunted so easily. Michael's descent. With only one child left, Michael became a shadow of his former self. He no longer ventured into the forest. Instead, he spent his days and nights guarding his home, weapon in hand, eyes bloodshot from sleeplessness. His wife pleaded with him to perform the ritual of forgiveness the elders had spoken of. The villagers begged him to seek peace with the lions before it was too late. But Michael could not let go of his pride. He had spent his life dominating the wild. To him, submitting to the lions was unthinkable. He convinced himself that he could protect his last child, that he would be ready when they came. The final attack. But the lions were clever. On the final night, they played with Michael's mind. Rustling leaves and distant growls pulled his attention in every direction. He spun in circles, his senses overwhelmed, his grip on his weapon tightening. And then, in the blink of an eye, his last child was gone. Michael collapsed, defeated. His pride, his family, his reputation, all were lost. And now he knew the lions no longer sought his children. They were coming for him. The hunter is now the hunted. Michael stood alone in the clearing, the forest surrounding him like a cage. He knew he could not outrun the lions, nor could he fight them. They had been watching him all along, waiting for this moment. And now, as the lioness appeared with her pride at her side, Michael understood. He had taken her cub, and in return, she had taken everything from him. But this time, Michael did not lift his weapon. He knelt before the lioness, accepting his fate. In that moment, he was no longer the hunter. He was just another creature of the forest, subject to its rules, its balance, its justice. The lesson of the lions. In the wake of Michael's demise, the village spoke of his story as a warning to future generations. The balance between man and nature was sacred, and pride was the greatest enemy of them all. The lions never returned to the village after that night, as if their vengeance had been satisfied. Michael's tale lived on, passed down from parents to children as a reminder that nature does not bow to pride. The hunter who once believed he controlled the wild had learned, too late, that the wild would always have the final say. Moral of the story: the arrogance of man often blinds him to the power of nature. Those who seek to dominate without respect will one day find themselves at the mercy of forces far greater than themselves. The hunter's decision to kill the lion cub leads to devastating repercussions, reminding us that harm done to others can come back to haunt us. Every action, especially those driven by selfishness or cruelty, can have far-reaching effects. The story highlights the need to respect the balance of nature. By killing the cub, the hunter disrupts the natural order, and nature retaliates, showing that all creatures, big or small, have a rightful place in the world. It encourages us to think about the lives we affect through our actions. Whether human or animal, every life has value, and we must take responsibility for our choices. What did you think of the hunter's tragic tale? Nature has its way of balancing the scales, and Michael's story reminds us that every action has a consequence. If you enjoyed the story and want more captivating tales of mystery, adventure, and life lessons, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Story Domain Hub family. Like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Who do you think was right in this story, the hunter or the lions? And what story should we tell next? Let us know, and keep the stories alive.